Welcome, friends. Hope you are well. Welcome to Live Dao with me, George. Hope you have had an amazing week. And yeah, privilege as always to be with you. And yeah, for us to share our journeys together on a voyage towards peace and balance and self-knowledge and wisdom. One of my big things that takes me out of flow is the feeling that there's not enough time. George, you got to work harder, you got to be more productive. And I'm really passionate about the path that I'm on, sharing ideas and practices to help you and to help us collectively live in balance. And that fires me up and gets me super pumped. We're facing a crisis of our own mental health and also a collective sustainability crisis. And there's so many interconnections between our disconnection from the true wonder and mystery of who we are. And then that manifests collectively when we don't realize that there's so much more to celebrate about humanity than there is to criticize, that we're connected with nature. I get fired up about sharing these ideas. But I can find myself, working to a point where I'm out of balance. And also these ideas of there not being enough time. So there's kind of impatience. And one of the big things that I'm still working on and getting deeper with and feeling more grounded in is my ability to do big action in an ease and in a flow and in a joy. So you'll know the concept Wu Wei literally translates as non-action, but isn't to be confused with literally doing nothing. Nature does so much amazing stuff, all the plants behind me, without forcing, without worrying, without the idea that there's not enough time, and yet so much is achieved. And so these ideas of Wu Wei doesn't mean that we just don't do anything. If your nature feels that there are things you want to do, then Wu Wei, the teachings of Wu Wei doesn't say don't do it. Instead, it's can you navigate those things that you want to do with an ease, without forcing, with a joy. So the aspiration for me is to do all these things that I'm passionate about with as much ease and with as much flow as possible. And specifically, I talked about how this scarcity of time is something that takes me out of my flow, feeling like I've got to do more because the planet's burning. And how do we ease with that scarcity of time? What is time? Let's get deep. We like to get deep here. What is time? So, on your spiritual journey and your journey of self-discovery, you've probably come across the idea that there's only now, the eternal unfolding now. Yesterday exists only in memories that are being recalled in the present moment, and tomorrow are just imaginations, constructs of what might happen that are happening in our minds. So the past and the future, they are both constructed by our minds in the present moment, and there's only the eternal unfolding now. And something about this eternal unfolding now is that it's not measurable. It's not like a moment is 1 microsecond, and then like the moments are added together and then that creates a lifetime. Instead, it's a flow, it's indivisible. You can't get to like, the now isn't a point of time. You can't get to that specific instance. Time isn't blocks, like lorries that are in a row together, and that's time stretching out. No, it's a flow, so you can't break time down. So, when I talk about this feeling of not having enough time, that is a metaphor because I have constructed time as a resource, something that we can have more or less of, something that can disappear. So there's not enough time. That's like me imagining time as, all these little segments that I can add up and measure. When in fact, that's not how time works. Time is a flow unfolding in the present moment. And there are cultures around the world that don't have the idea that time is a resource. That's pretty wild, right? There are cultures that don't see time as something that you can have that can run away from you. And some indigenous American cultures have the idea of time sickness. It's kind of like homesickness, is that when you are thinking too much about time, an illness develops. And that sounds familiar, right? If you felt this idea of scarcity, that there's not enough time. It's almost a disconnection from the truth of our being, which is that, we're here in the unfolding, eternal now, and there is no scarcity there because it can't be measured. And yet, when we have time sickness, we feel the pain from that idea, that metaphor that we've constructed in our minds that there's not enough time. So time is a flow, not a thing that can be measured. And our experience of time is very different from the measurement. So even if we say, okay, well, sometimes we need to measure in order to say, how long am I going to go on holiday for? It's important to see that as a metaphor, as a useful model, but not time itself. Distinguishing between the words that we use and the concepts we create around time and time itself. Because you'll know that when you're in flow, say you're walking the dog or you're in the shower and you're just feeling present, time seems to flow effortlessly. There's a joy, there's an ease, there isn't an idea of scarcity. And time seems to go quickly, and yet when you look back, you think, wow, okay, actually I did a lot there. If we contrast that to constantly being thinking about, there's not enough time, am I going to do this all in time? Am I going to get this ready for this meeting? Suddenly that time, because we're focusing on it, goes really, really slowly in a not enjoyable way. And the actual joy of life escapes us because we're focusing on time as a concept, as something that we can have more or less of. So can we ease around that need to always be measuring our lives and instead just relax into the here and now? And that is true Wu Wei, that's true flow. And so when we get out of our own way, these thoughts that we construct in our minds that give us pain, when we get out of our own way, then that is when this Wu Wei state of nature comes to us. We are in flow and we can allow the universe to support us. All of these thoughts for me of, there's not enough time, got to work harder, that is a waste of energy. And that's actually me not being in my wisdom. That's me getting in my own way. So can we relax all of that, come to the present moment and move from there, and then surprise ourselves that nonetheless we achieve those big things that we wanted in the first place. So first Nanda says, how do you apply Wu Wei concerning other people when a person says something very bad to you? Yeah, so if somebody is being rude to you and you feel they are not acting in their integrity, how does the Tao response invite us to respond to that? Lao Tzu says in the Tao Te Ching, good people are the resource of bad people. So people living in their integrity are helpful to those who are out of integrity. But Lao Tzu also says those who are out of integrity can also be the resources for those who are in integrity. Bad people can help good people. And so, although connection is important and relationships that support us is important, we take this journey of life by ourselves. We can't control other people, and we can't even control the thoughts that come into our heads. And so, to let go of trying to fix everyone else, and instead see everyone's actions as opportunities for learning, opportunities to do this transmutation that we talked about, this transformation of their actions into learning, into peace, into wisdom for you. Bad people can be the resource of good people. So for me, Wu Wei is instructing us to let go of control, let go of forcing. That's the basic definition of Wu Wei. And instead hold that openness, that responsivity, sensitivity to other people, while also holding our own energy. And if we hold that openness, it means that when, people we perceive are attacking us and we stay grounded, then that in itself creates an energy which can lead to them softening as well, because we don't fight fire with fire and force with force. That can be, an eye for an eye makes the world blind. And actually, can we develop this Taoist skill of observing without evaluating, connecting with our center and moving from our center? And that's a skill, something that comes with time, something for you to explore. So see, rain on time resonates deeply. I've come to the same conclusion. Pan Michael saying, I was actually just thinking time can be perceived by intensity, or perhaps urgency is the better word. Yeah, so, intensity is an evaluation that we put on the flow, the eternal unfolding now. And so the urgency is where we take ownership over the construct that we put on that eternal flow. Peacemaker sharing what helps them get into flow with time, going into nature, exercising, meditating. Anna sharing, time seems to be how we perceive it. Beautiful. Danbury saying, I think being aware that time is a construct is helpful, and being aware that all concepts are just that. Yeah, beautiful. So, having an idea of time, an idea of tomorrow, an idea of yesterday is really important for us to navigate our complex human lives. So it's not that we just let go of time as a thing that can be measured, but the awareness that we are choosing to measure it. We are choosing to buy into this idea that time is a model, time is a resource that we can have more or less of. So then that brings back the power, where this urgency that we may be feeling is something that we create for ourselves because of this metaphor that we are empowering. So if we are aware with that, then we can choose when to use time so it serves us, and then when to let go and to be in the flow and to be carried down by the ever-unfolding river of the Tao and the unfolding time. Being sharing what helps them enjoy time, creating time to be with yourself. It's not selfish. So one of the mantras I often share is self-care is not self-indulgence. Self-care is not self-indulgence. So sometimes that time with ourselves, the emptiness practice, doing our meditation practice every day, is not selfishness. In fact, that's actually how we can then do more in the unfolding now with more energy and more joy. Peacemaker sharing sunrise, sunset, the eternal cycles that we base our time on. If we think about even 700 years ago, for most human beings, time was the rising of the sun reaching its apex in the sky, and then setting for the evening. And we would base time on that rhythm. So it wasn't something that was measured. Perhaps, you could count the number of days, but we didn't have the concept of hours. And certainly for most people, we didn't live by the concept of hours. It was only in the medieval ages, when church bells began to ring every hour, that then we began to have this rhythm of time. And then with the Industrial Revolution, with factory work and capitalism, say in Manchester or Bristol, the factory owners would build these large terraced housing developments where all the workers could live, and the factories would ring the bells, ding, 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 in order to get all the factory workers up for their shift, and then ding, 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 ringing the bell again for the next shift to come on. So then, as human beings, we began to become more and more regimented to this construct of time. And now, with our phones, we have our time with us wherever we go all the time. And so much of our lives are based around not only hours, but minutes and seconds. It wasn't always like that. And if you've gone into nature and switched all your technology off and gone camping, and you found that freedom to just wake up when you wake up, maybe with the birds, and to just relax into not knowing the time, that's a wonderful gift and something to remember is possible for all of us. Mary sharing the power of gratitude. If I'm grateful for something I have or can see, that helps me be more rooted in the present moment. Beautiful. And C, sharing deadlines are also difficult to discern if I'm not meeting a deadline, mainly because of me and I need to improve, or was the problem beyond me? So yeah, deadlines and routines. So the wisdom of the yin yang invites us to remember that there's no simple answers. And as we've been talking about, time can be useful, deadlines can be useful, and also it's a construct that we choose to believe. And so remembering that we can let go of that construct. So routine and deadlines aren't necessarily bad in themselves. Like if we think about the monks living in monasteries, they wake up at the same time every day. They have their rice meals at the same time every day. They clean the temple halls at the same time every day. They do chanting at the same time every day. And so that routine allows them to flow into their day because they know what they're doing when. And it means that 100, 200 monks can work together based on that schedule. So, there's Taoist practitioners using routines and in some ways deadlines. And for us, with the things that we want to do, sometimes setting a deadline with enough softness, it's not beating ourselves up if we don't meet it, but sometimes, okay, by the end of the week, I want to get this thing done, is a good thing for us to concentrate our energy, to empty out the other distractions and to focus on doing the things that really serve us and the things that we're passionate about. So NCU's question is around, it's difficult to discern if I'm not meeting these deadlines mainly because of me and needing to improve, or if the problem was beyond me. And yeah, like a lot of my journey, I love productivity books and, Atomic Habits by James Clear, Getting Things Done by David Allen. Now, I manage a lot of things. There's 8 people in my team now. So, yeah, I have loved all the productivity books. And so if that resonates with you, cool, try it out. And it is nice to see, this time that we have is precious. And I don't want to spend it scrolling through Instagram because Silicon Valley engineers have made it so addictive that I can't stop. Our time is precious. Can we train ourselves to drop into the things that resonate with us, to give us time to share our gifts? Maybe that work, we earn money, but if we do that well enough, then we have time to focus on our gifts. And with time, we can, get deeper into those gifts as something that's intrinsically enjoyable, or we could maybe earn money from that in smaller or bigger ways. So time is precious, and I'm not against that productivity world, but it just needs to be held with the right softness. So remembering the yin yang, cool, deadlines, exploring productivity, if that resonates, great, but also giving yourself the permission to just be, letting go of all of that and not to use it as a stick to beat yourself up against. This is the hustle culture, the productivity, and it's out of balance because they don't balance it with rest and acknowledging that, we have permission just to be. A lot of the Taoist teachings talk about how, a Taoist may seem empty, dumb, an idiot, wandering like a unmoored boat on the sea with no direction. There's lots of metaphors used in the Tao Te Ching and in the Zhuangzi talking about how stupid Taoists may appear. And they're basically saying that to give you permission to just be yourself and to not feel this constant desire to improve and be someone else and be enough because of the things that you do. We're human beings, not human doings. Human beings. So you have permission to be who you want to be. You have permission to do nothing. And then if you'd like to, exploring time and discipline and deadlines. So Mike sharing, sometimes I have to push through the lethargy and just start. By the end, I'm fine or even energized. Yeah, so sometimes we do have to push a bit. And I noticed this. And still working out the Taoist language to be able to communicate this clearly. But it is that same dichotomy that we were just talking about, the duality that exists within unity of action and non-action. So, if we wake up tired in the morning, getting ourselves to go outside, to go for a walk, to feel the sun on our face, to do some Qigong, at first, we may be forcing that. That may not be in our everyday patterns, but that is precisely the thing that's going to raise your energy and help to get out of that lethargy more easily. And so for me, that morning routine where I get up first thing, my phone I locked in a drawer the night before, so I don't even touch my phone. I go straight out, go for a walk, do a standing meditation, do some movement, some crawling, bit of yoga. And it doesn't need to take long. And then I come back, I have my green tea, I do some seated meditation, and then I'm on the way to a beautiful day with that. And so, like you, I wake up with the lethargy and the thoughts of, I don't want to go out of bed, whatever thoughts are coming up for us. To just stay present with them and to move the body. A mantra I love is the heart and mind follow the feet. The heart and mind follow the feet. So often we can create momentum in our day through moving our bodies, and that can help us get through that lethargy. And then, we become more energized and more joyful. So, coming back to the Tao principle of that, I guess that's your wisdom that when we, with our meditation practice, begin to realize that we're not just our thoughts, that thoughts arise in our awareness, and that we are embodied awareness. So we have the choice to just not identify with these thoughts of I'm tired, oh, today's going to be rubbish, I can't do this. So, we don't actually need to push against them, we just observe them, we allow them to flow, and we come back to our wisdom, we come back to our center, our dantian, and then we move our bodies, and that's our wisdom asking us to move. And we do that in a kind and gentle way, and that's how we create momentum in our lives, and we begin to move and begin to live with joy. Yes. NC sharing, I guess it's a very personal thing to explore. We need to discover which part of the yin-yang we need right now. And that's beautiful. It's all about your wisdom journey. The Tao and the things that I share are offerings for you, or Taoism is an offering for you. And you're the one with the power. It's your life, it's your body, it's your consciousness. And so that yin-yang dance, you've got to navigate that for yourself on a day-by-day, moment-by-moment basis. When is action going to serve me? When is rest going to serve me? And that is your intuitive wisdom that you develop over time, so that no longer does that just need to be an intellectual thing of, okay, I'll rest between these hours. Instead, it's finding those moments of rest and being able to navigate your life with skill. And a beautiful way we can bring rest into the everyday is taking a couple of mindful breaths. So why don't we try that together? I invite us to breathe in together, softening our faces. And a nice slow exhale. Let's try one more of those. Breathing in, softening the face. Breathing out, letting any tension go. And part of my wisdom journey is that tool is part of me now. The single breath. Do it throughout the day. And that's why we do it every single week, because it's a beautiful, powerful tool to help you live with flow. So I want to share with you a bit of a sprap. Doing something a bit jazzier today. All right, friends. Going to do some sprap. See where we're going to go? Yes. Thank you for holding space with me. Grateful to be with you. Yeah. Wait for the beat to drop. Wayfinders, good to be with ya. Here we go. Yes. Yes, we come from the same source, of course. Getting through this discourse, yeah. Over time we've called it different names, God, Allah, Tao, and playing these games of life. See, this life we have is full of so much difficulty and pain. Sometimes I think human beings, are we just built to be insane? All this depravity, yeah. But if we take the big view, look to the galaxy. We're one of hundreds of billions of stars going through time, traveling at the speed of light. It's incredible, filled with light. Can we connect with our divinity? The truth of our being, if we can see that there's so much more to celebrate than to criticize. Yeah, so step into the kingdom within. We've got a light, we call it wisdom. We can develop a new ability to live a life of simplicity, yeah. Taking everything in, looking at the stars, where to begin. This great life that we're a part of, feeling that gratitude, feeling my heart open up, yes. Seeing, I know now that there is a rainbow. I go thou to the end where the pot of gold is, yeah. So, to recap, if we can appreciate which is that, yeah, we find wisdom and simplicity, go to the end of the rainbow, there's the pot of gold, yeah. We don't have to do this out of duty, but instead just appreciating this beauty that's all around and within. So if we can start again and begin to find a new light, a new way to appreciate what's already there and what feels right, yeah. Like a child, they see everything is wild, taking a bottle, seeing it not just as something to drink from, but instead something that can be used as a telescope or a little game, something that kids like to play with. Can we have the same intensity, allow ourselves to flow without scarcity? Yeah, time is a construct, there is only the eternal founding now, unfolding now. So can we step into our power and allow ourselves to flow, to grow, to know that we're stronger together? Oh, no, yes, we can go. Haha, some sprappy sprap. All right, thank you, friends. Yeah, thank you for holding space for some rapping and some silliness. Yay. Beautiful. Thanks a lot.